Congressman John Yarmuth is a Democrat from Kentucky and a member of the Budget, Ways and Means Committee. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Martin.
After spending the better part of a year getting this passed, is it now possible that the White House may actually benefit from the court ruling if it comes out as finding it to be unconstitutional?
Well, you know, that would be a tragedy for the American people, and I know thousands of people in my district would be very upset. All the thousands of parents who have kids with juvenile diabetes and other asthma and so forth who were so relieved that their kids would never have to worry about getting insurance the rest of their lives. There would be a severe pushback on that, but politically, I think it would benefit Democrats. First of all, for the reason I mentioned, there are a lot of people who see the benefit of the Affordable Care Act and now will regret losing it. All the women who are relieved that they would never be discriminated against on premiums in the private market, and many, many more. But more than that, I think you'd see pretty rapidly a return to the situation we had before the Health Care Reform Act was passed, where premiums were going up 15, 20, 25% a year. Businesses were screaming, please do something. I can't afford to maintain coverage. They'll be dropping their employee coverage again, as they were doing and continue to do. And I think it would be a disaster politically for Republicans if the Supreme Court overturns this law.
You refer to your own state, and indeed I was checking, and over 650,000 without health insurance, including over 85,000 in your own district. I mean, what will it mean for states like yours if this law is simply overturned?
Well, again, it's going to be a human disaster, because these people will now, under the Affordable Care Act, many of them will be covered by expanded Medicaid, and they're going to be back out in the cold, which means our emergency rooms are going to continue to be flooded with people who don't have insurance. It's going to raise the cost of keeping all of those operations alive. It's going to put more strains on local and state budgets. It really will be a disaster.
Now, you've challenged Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who of course is also from Kentucky, to a debate over health care because you say he's misleading the public about the issue. He often gives press conferences. He likes to talk critically about the administration. Do you think he'll accept your invitation?
Oh, I doubt it. But what we've done with him, he wrote an op-ed, published an op-ed in the Courier-Journal in Louisville last week and also in the Lexington paper. And he basically misstates many of the facts about the impact of the Affordable Care Act, talking about, he says the average family would pay $2,100 more. No, the CBO says the average family would have a reduction in their premiums of 7 to 10%. He talks about businesses saying they weren't going to hire because of the Affordable Care Act. That's not true. They did a poll of businesses who said they weren't going to hire people, asked them why. Most of them said because they just didn't need the employees. Some of them talked about health care costs, but they didn't mention the Affordable Care Act. So he's very clever. He uses selective data and spins it in a way that's misleading. And so I'd love to be on the same platform with him and challenge him on many of those statements he makes.
I'd love to do that myself. Congressman John Yarmuth from Kentucky, thank you. And very quick answer. Who are you rooting for in the Final Four this weekend?
Well, I'm a Cardinal fan, so we've got a very, very internecine battle going with UK and U of L, and I'm a Cardinal fan, but I'll be rooting for whichever Kentucky school makes it to Monday night.
Wonderful, a very fair and reasonable choice. Thanks so much, sir.
Thanks, Martin.
We'll be right back to